we have some new sponsorships in NASCAR. Some new companies that have decided to say, hey, we want to slap some stickers on your car. That is a joke, referring to the number switch thing. That is back up in the air again. They're talking about that again. That's being reported on again about how they're moving the numbers back. We're not going to talk about that today. I just thought about making fun of it. Anyways, we're going to talk about some new sponsors in NASCAR. Roush Fenway and Hendrick Motorsports have picked up a couple of new sponsors, and so we are going to talk about that today. Ryan Newman and Chase Elliott are the two guys we're going to talk about specifically. They will have new colors, new sponsors on their cars, so here they are. Kohler, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Kohler Generators joins Roush Fenway Racing and will sponsor them, the number 6 car for Ryan Newman, for 8 races starting at the Daytona 500. That's right, Ryan Newman, of course, in his 3rd year with Roush Fenway Racing, made the playoffs in 2019. Last year, did not make the playoffs, missed a few races due to injury, but this year coming back, hoping to come back a little bit and make the playoffs again. But anyways, starting off with the Daytona 500, they're going to run the Kohler. Here's a picture of it. They're going to run the Kohler car at the Daytona 500. They're going to run it at the first Atlanta race in March, Darlington in May, the Coke 600, Road America, Bristol in September, and then the Talladega Fall and the Martinsville Fall races. So that is the races that they'll be running this car at, this sponsorship. I'm sure they might come up with a patriotic paint scheme for the Coke 600 or the July 4th date. They might have like a red, white, and blue paint scheme that they'll do, or maybe they'll just do this with an American flag on the blue part of the car. I don't know. But yeah, this is a new sponsorship for this team, Kohler Generators. According to Roush Fenway, Kohler is a global leader in the manufacture of kitchen and bath products, engines and power systems, premier cabinetry, tile and lighting, and owner-operator of 2 of the world's finest 5-star hospitality and golf resort destinations in Kohler, Wisconsin, and St. Andrews, Scotland. Good for them. So that's a little bit about Kohler. That's a little bit about the sponsor on the car. Obviously, as we've talked about in the past, sponsorship in NASCAR is great. More sponsors in NASCAR is always good. Money going into the sport, money going into these teams and cars is always great. More competitive cars is great. Newman and, this 6 team, they picked up a couple sponsors in the last year. Last year, for the first time, they ran I think it was Coke or something, K-O-C-H, not like Coca-Cola. And then they also got Guaranteed Rate later on in the year. Heck, I was watching a basketball game the other day, and there was a sponsorship for Guaranteed Rate, and Ryan Newman was in it. So I think that partnership's going pretty well. But here's another one that is going to be in the NASCAR Cup Series. They're going to run in 8 races, as I said. That's a lot of races. Some of these sponsors, like the next one we're going to talk about in a minute, they only get a primary sponsorship for, 3 or 4 races, maybe 2 races, maybe 6 or 7 if they're lucky. But with a team like this that doesn't have one, they have a lot of primary sponsors. Like they used to have, like, Matt Kenseth would always have Best Buy or something, or DeWalt, or Carl Edwards had Aflac, something like that. But they haven't had that in the past couple of years. They've had various sponsors. Fastnell, as I said, like with last year, Guaranteed Rate, Oscar Mayer with Newman, and then the green car Acorns or something, Acorn Investments. I can't remember what it's called. But they've had a variety of sponsors sponsoring their race cars, and so for someone like this to look at the team and say, hey, you got some openings or you don't have some locked dates, we'll take them. We'll sponsor your car. We'll take 8 of these races. That's what Kohler Generators is doing. They will sponsor Ryan Newman for 8 races in the 2021 season, starting at the Daytona 500, going all the way up to the second to last race of the year at Martinsville. So yeah, good for them, good for Ryan Newman, good for the Roush Fenway Racing team to get 8 races locked up for sponsorship. Other than that, I think it's their normal sponsor lineup. But yeah, on to the next news. The next news is Chase Elliott, defending 2020 NASCAR champion, has picked up a sponsor to kind of replace Mountain Dew. Remember, Mountain Dew in the Pepsi term with Hendrick Motorsports, it ended at the end of last year, and Pepsi/Mountain Dew, they decided not to renew the contract, and so that left a couple of open races for a primary sponsorship, and obviously on the side of the car they get sponsorship and stuff. But they were no longer going to be on the car because, you know, the sponsorship's over. They didn't sign a deal or anything. And so, you know, they a couple weeks ago announced a new primary sponsorship with Lumar. Lumar previously with the 88 car, but it was moving over to the 9 car. And I was like, oh, maybe that's taking the races. But no, they have announced a new primary sponsor that is a drink, Adrenaline Shoc. It is a performance-driven energy drink called Adrenaline Shoc, a.k.a. A-Shoc. You know, because adrenaline, you shrink it down to A, and it's A-Shoc. Genius. Anyways, they will serve as a primary sponsor for 2 races, as I was saying earlier, with the whole only 2 races thing. They will serve as primary for the 2 races, the summer, July, Atlanta race, and then the fall Talladega race. So, a non-Napa race that I get to go to. Woo. I've seen a Napa car a lot as a Chase Elliott fan, so it's kind of cool to see new sponsors. Nope, no paint scheme as of now. They got some time to design one considering the first race is all the way in July. But yeah, so they got time to figure that out. But announced this morning, Chase Elliott said he's very proud to welcome A-Shoc to Hendrick Motorsports. Great time to have a new partner come to the sport and especially to join the 9 team. Their excitement level is on par with mine, which is really cool to see. It's a new brand that fits me really well and a relationship we can grow. I'm looking forward to our first race together at my home track in July. So yeah, cool for them to get a sponsor. Obviously, being the most popular driver and then coming off a championship win, that's going to attract a lot of attention from sponsors. Obviously, we saw Lumar move over. We've seen just in the past couple of years, a couple sponsors move from other Hendrick teams to Chase Elliott, and then obviously him get a couple new ones like A-Shoc here, but we saw UniFirst move over. We saw Lumar move over. We've seen Hooters jump on the Chase Elliott team. They've joined A-Shoc. So, yeah, they've gained a couple of sponsors in the past couple of years. The 9 team is having a lot of sponsors now. Being the most popular driver, as I said, is a major factor, and then obviously winning a championship. But Napa still runs that team. Napa still owns the majority of sponsorship for that race team. And, yeah, they got a majority of the races. So if you do sign on to be a primary sponsor, you're not going to get that many races because Napa has, like, I want to say 26 dates, I think. So, like, Hooters gets 2 or 3. Lumar gets 2. And then, obviously, A-Shoc gets 2. UniFirst probably gets 2. So, if you're not Napa, you're going to only get 2 or 3 races as a primary, but you are going to get the like side of the car or the quarter panel or the back of the car, something like that. But yeah, it's good for them. They didn't have a drink sponsorship at Hendrick Motorsports because Pepsi left, and you know. But another interesting thing about this sponsor is, first of all, I missed this part of it. It launched in 2019, so that's a recent thing. 10 great tasting flavors, plant-powered natural caffeine blend. Okay, so if you want to go try it, go for it. It is distributed across the United States by Keurig Dr. Pepper. So I thought that was interesting. Remember, Dr. Pepper used to be in the sport. A few years ago, they sponsored, BK Racing or something. And then they haven't been in the sport for a while. But then a few weeks ago, they announced that they would be sponsoring the Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin 2311 team and Bubba Wallace. You remember that? So Dr. Pepper got back into the sport, and it looks like, well, one of their other companies, A-Shoc, is going to be in it too. So good for Dr. Pepper getting back into NASCAR. And, you know, now they got a couple of cars locked up. I mean, it doesn't say Dr. Pepper on the car, but, you know, it's still Dr. Pepper, or it's still owned by Dr. Pepper at least. I think this is the same Dr. Pepper. I mean, I don't think I'm crazy. Yeah, looking at their website, there's a Dr. Pepper bottle there, so I think that this Keurig Dr. Pepper thing is like the Dr. Pepper soft drink, you know? You know what I'm talking about? Like that Bubba Wallace is sponsored by the... You guys know what I'm talking about. But anyways, that is the sponsorship news for today. Chase Elliott has a new drink sponsor. Hendrick Motorsports gets a new drink sponsor. They lost Mountain Dew, and they have picked up a new drink, an energy drink, A-Shoc, Adrenaline Shoc. That is their new kind of thingy-ma-watch-it. And then Roush Fenway Racing, Kohler generators, they picked up that for Ryan Newman. They will have that for 8 races this season, from the first race at the Daytona 500 up to the second to last race at Martinsville. They will have 8 races that they run that paint scheme, that primary sponsorship. And then the Shoc, I forgot to say that again, but they will have 2 races, Atlanta in the summer and Talladega in the fall. So yeah, there is your news for today. Couple new sponsorships, nothing major, nothing life-changing as a NASCAR fan, but yeah, there you go. I hope you had a great day so far. It's only like noon, so I guess it's early in the day. But yeah, I hope everyone's having a great day. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. It would mean a lot to me. Subscribe to the channel. That would also mean a ton if you did that. Share the channel with other NASCAR peoples, and make sure to have a great day.